there are three types of muscles: the skeletal muscles, the smooth muscles, and the cardiac muscles. The skeletal muscles are those muscles which are attached to the skeleton, body skeleton, that is whether it is the axial skeleton or the appendicular skeleton. I have told you last time that axial means the markazi, the central, that is the thoracic cage, the pelvic, and the head region, the skull. And the appendicular means the limbs, the upper and the lower limb. So these muscles are, first of all, these muscles are voluntary, means these are our own control. We can move it according to our desire. Then the smooth and the cardiac muscles both are involuntary, and these are not under our own control. The smooth and the cardiac muscle, there is a little bit difference between the smooth and the cardiac muscle, and later in the coming discussion I am going to tell you. So the skeletal muscles nomenclature. Nomenclature means the various names of the muscle, especially in anatomy. Our students, I tell you that this lecture is confined to the naked eye appearance of muscles, not the histology and not the embryological study of a muscle. So we will deal here with the gross anatomy of the skeletal muscle and the cardiac muscle and the smooth muscles. So the skeletal muscles are predominant, therefore I am going to tell you first of all these things. So the named after, in the slide it is written named after some characteristics. Some characteristics means चंद खुसूसियात हैं जिनकी वजह से मसल्स का nomenclature बनी है, और this nomenclature we will use in our gross anatomy study of the human body. The number of origin, first of all, number of origin. I hope you know the biceps, the triceps, the quadriceps, because everyone is aware of due to sports. Biceps means, sip mean a head. So bi mean two and sip mean two heads. A muscle which is arising by two heads. Tricep. Tricep means three heads. A muscle which will arise by mean of three heads. Quadriceps. Quadriceps, quadri mean four. A muscle which will have four origin heads. Then the location of origin or the insertion. Some muscles are also named after their location, यानी ये वो कहाँ पर हैं, the specific region. Like sternocleidomastoid is an example. Sternocleidomastoid, this muscle has been arised from the mastoid process in the skull, and it is inserted at the sternum. That is why it is called sternocleidomastoid. There are so many examples of nomenclature from origin regarding origin and insertion. We will think about it in the coming study of gross anatomy. Then the location of muscle. For example, temporalis. Temple means the sides of the skull. Here we have a muscle by the name of temporalis, and it is in the region that is temporal region. That is why it is called the temporalis muscle, which works in chewing process. The shape of the muscle is another classification. It is deltoid, delta shaped. Deltoid. It is a tripinnate muscle arising by 3 heads and inserts by a single tendon. And then the trapezius. Trapezius, I hope you know the trapezoid shape. So the muscle here, according to shape, I told you, is the trapezius we will study in the upper limb, inshallah. Then the serratus. Serratus. Serration means digitations, like branches, like serratus. For example, a serratus interior on the lateral, anterior lateral side of the thoracic region arises from the each ribs and inserts in the upper limb. Rhomboid, rhombus shape. So these are some nomenclatures. Then the direction of the muscle fibers. What is the direction then? Rectus. Rectus means parallel. When the fibers of the muscle runs parallel to each other, that is called rectus muscle. Rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis, it is present in the anterior abdominal wall. The transversus or transverse. Transversus abdominis. It obliquely, it is arranged obliquely. The fibers are the fibers are transversely arranged, perpendicular to each other. And the oblique, external oblique, an example, it is also the muscle of the abdominal, the anterior abdominal wall. So rectus abdominis or rectus muscle or transversus muscle or transversus abdominis is an example. The fibers run perpendicularly, and the oblique, the fibers run obliquely toward its insertion site. Then the size of the muscle. Maximus, we will use a word maximus, like gluteus maximus. Gluteus maximus is a muscle in the gluteal region, which means largest. Minimus. Minimus is a term which is used for smallest, like gluteus minimus. Minimus. There are 3 muscles in the gluteal region, major: the gluteus maximus, minimus, and medius. Medius is in between the 2. Then the longus muscle. Longus. Longus muscles are present in the longus means longest. The longest muscle and the brevis muscle are shortest. These are present in the upper and lower limb with various names. Then the classification according to the action of the muscle. The flexor muscles, the extensor muscles, the abductor muscles, and the adductor muscles. We perform all the movements. I told you in the last previous lecture that we perform flexion movement, extension movement, abduction movement, and adduction. But these movements are not possible without proper muscles. So Allah has given us flexors, extensors, abductors, and adductors muscles. Now, skeletal muscle are organs like other organs, because an organ is the definition of an organ is this, that it performs a special function. So skeletal muscles are also organs. They vary in shape and size. And they are different in shape and size. They are striated. Striation, this is a somewhat histological approach, and the teacher of histology will tell you, because this is beyond the scope of this lecture, because I am the teacher of gross anatomy. Then it is the presence of sarcomeres, the functional units, and they comes repetitively. That is why these are called striated muscles. The size of a muscle is roundabout average is the fiber size is 100 micrometer in length, and the average diameter is 10 micrometer, and these are called the muscle fibers. So the composition of a muscle. The muscles are formed, the entire muscle is called the muscle mass or the muscle belly. You can see here, this is the bone, the cursor shows you the bone, and this is the tendon, and this is the muscle mass, the entire muscle mass. And these separate circles, in which there are separate minute circles, the large circles means the fascicles. The fascicles are the structures containing bundles of fibers. And the fibers contain the myofibrils or the myofilaments, the histological structure of the muscle. Now, there is a term we use, the deep fascia. I will tell you later on in a separate lecture about the deep fascia. The deep fascia is a connective tissue, fibrous connective tissue sheet, thick, and it connects the various organs with each other. Somewhere it is strong and somewhere it is thin. Over here, Almighty has enclosed the entire muscle mass into this particular connective tissue, the deep fascia, and this is named epimysium. The muscle mass is covered by a layer of deep fascia, which is a connective tissue, and it is called the epimysium. The perimysium in which the fascicle is enclosed. You can see the blue and the red dots. These are the blood vessels. They pass along with a small minute speck you can see is the nerve. This is the rule of the body Allah has given us, that this is called neurovascular bundle. Everywhere where there is a nerve, an artery, there will be a similar vein and a nerve as well. And it is enclosed in the fascia, the deep fascia. Over here, in between the muscle fascicles, the blood vessels, the nerve, and this entire component, which is called the neurovascular bundle, it is passed, and it supplies the blood vessels supplied blood to the muscles, and nerve supplies its own supply, the current. The epimysium covers the muscle mass, the perimysium covers the fascicle, and the endomysium covers the muscle fiber. Then the muscle fibers contain, you see here, the various myofibrils. In this slide you can see the perimysium, which is enclosing the fascicle, and another diagram, the muscle fiber, which is enclosed in the endomysium. You can see very well in this fascicular diagram the neurovascular bundle, the vein, the nerve, and the artery you can see. Now the attachment of the muscles. The muscles must be attached in order to perform its proper function. So both a muscle will arise and will insert. Both are called attachments. But the origin point is somewhat different from the insertion point. The origin point is less movable and the insertion point is more movable. And you can see in the diagram the biceps muscle, which has been contracted, and the elbow goes in flexion. And on the back, the tricep muscle allows this particular muscle to contract. So the tricep relaxes and the bicep contracts. That is why then after this particular function, the flexion is brought about. Then whenever we extend it, the tricep is utilized because the tricep is the extensor muscle, and the biceps releases the flexion and allows the tricep to extend the elbow. This is a simple example. The muscle is always pulled toward the insertion site. The blood vessels, they extends through both the epimysium and the perimysium and supplies the muscle mass. The organizational patterns in fascicles. In other words, the fibrous organization, how the various muscles, in order to perform specific function, they are organized. The circular, the convergent, the parallel, the pinnate muscles, the fusiform muscles. So the circular muscle, they are sphincteric in shape, and always they are present in areas where a sphincter-like function is used. For example, before the oral cavity, our lips. In the diagram, the oval, the circular fashioned muscles, this is the example of orbicularis oris. Orbicularis oris are the muscles of the lips. So we can move our lips in circular fashion. Then another example of this circular muscle is the orbicularis oculi, papotonka, eyelids. The eyelids muscles are circular fibers. They run in a circular fashion. The convergent, the fascicles extend over a broad area and converge on a site. Convergent. In the figure you can see the convergent muscle, deltoid muscle is a best example because it arises by three origins and inserts on a single point. It arises from clavicle, it arises from the scapula, upper scapula and the back of the scapula. So this is also called tripinnate and a convergent muscle. Converge upon arising from different origins and converging upon a single point, that is called convergent muscle. The parallel muscle, the fascicles, they run, the fascicles in which the muscle fibers are present, they run parallel to each other along the long axis, like the muscles, the lengthy muscles and the muscles of the abdominal wall, parallel. Pinnate muscles, pinna mean a leaf-like structure. Some muscles are a single leaflet-like. Some muscles are double leaflet-like. Some muscles are triple leaflet-like. A single leaflet-like muscles are एक फीदर की तरह होते हैं, है वन और मोर टेंडन्स, या एक और या ज़्यादा टेंडन्स, और उसके इर्द गिर्द जो हैं वो मसल फेसिकल्स अरेंज होते हैं. सो oblique fascicles, some are oblique. So according to the pinna of the muscles, they are still further divided into three types, that is the unipinnate, the bipinnate and the multipinnate. The example of the unipinnate is the extensor digitorum. Extensor digitorum, digitorum means which the muscles which goes toward the digits, the fingers. That's why it is called digitorum. The bipinnate, like the rectus femoris muscle. Rectus femoris we will study later on in the special study of the lower limb. We will see the rectus femoris muscle and then I will remind you. The multipinnate are the deltoid muscle. The fusiform are bundle shaped or spindle shaped muscle. They create large pili and converge them in a single tendon. So this is the organizational pattern in fascicles of a skeletal muscle. Now it was all about the skeletal muscle. Now something about the smooth and the cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscles, these are arranged in thick bundles. They are also striated and they are shorter and thicker, have only one or two nuclei, and the fibers are especially Y-shaped. Y-shaped. In this structure you can see the fibers are Y-shaped and the branches, they join at the adjacent fibers where the Y starts. Fibers and at their intercalated disc. The teacher of histology will tell you what is intercalated disc. They are autorhythmic fibers. Autorhythmic, they self-generation of the electrical impulse. So this is the uniqueness. And it is, they are also controlled by the autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic activity, it increases the contraction of the heart, cardiac muscle or heart muscle, and the parasympathetic activity we will discuss later on in the nervous system, they decrease the activity of the muscle. The smooth muscle, they are fusiform shaped. Both the ends are tipped and they are unstriated muscles with only a single, as far as we go from the skeletal muscle, the nuclei in the cells, they are decreasing in number. So in this condition, in the smooth muscles, the nuclei, there is single nucleus in the nerve fiber, and they are unstriated, short, fusiform. They are thick filamented, not precisely aligned, arranged. So there are no visible striations or sarcomeres. इसमें sarcomeres नहीं होते, इसीलिए इसमें striations नहीं होते. These are the sarcomeres which produce a striated appearance. So that is why they lack the this property. The smooth muscles are found in all the viscera. A viscus is an organ without bone, like stomach, like intestine, like gallbladder, like lungs. Lungs is a viscus, like heart, like urinary bladder, like ureter, like uterus, like uterine fallopian tubes. These are all. Then the walls of the blood vessels contain the smooth muscles. Dear students, I hope you would have followed me, and if there is some shortcomings, I will apologize because I was suffering from COVID, and now Alhamdulillah I am getting improved. So we will meet time and again with different beautiful and interesting lectures. God may bless you all. Thank you for giving me time.